It's afternoon now, so yeah, good afternoon everyone, and welcome. Well, yeah, the video is gonna be out by afternoon, 3 p.m. hopefully. Welcome back to F123 My Team Career Mode. This is episode 4. Yes, episode 4, as we're gonna be taking on the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. If you haven't watched the previous video at the Australian Grand Prix, I honestly don't recommend watching. I'm just joking. Nah, but yeah, I recommend watching that video before coming to this one, as it was a very interesting race for both drivers, myself and my teammate Dennis. Um, but yeah, let's get on with it, and we have updates that are coming through. Hopefully, none of them fail, or maybe if some fail, just one, because I have high hopes for this car come later in the season for fighting at the front of the grid. So here we go. Very nice. Let's see. We have 1,200 R&D points. We're now currently the 4th best team, but we're very neck and neck with Aston Martin. So yeah, very good progress so far. But I think we're gonna get overtaken within the next few races, as we've got a string of good results: 9th, 6th, 9th. Should we hold on to our R&D? Maybe get a big upgrade after the practice sessions? Yeah. Anyway, sprint weekend. Oh, it's a sprint weekend. Sprint weekends have different allocations to regular weekend. There are fewer sets in total, and only the soft compound can be used in the qualifying sessions. Nice. So we have more soft tires. Alright, so we have only one practice session. Therefore, I'm gonna also... Yeah, I haven't done the practice session in Australia, which kind of bit me in the ass. But I don't know how the sprint layout is in the game compared to real life, because real life it's okay, so it's just like the 2022 season sprint, which is quali for the sprint, and the sprint decides the grid. Alright, bet. Alright, here we go. Practice session number 1. See you after practice, boys. Alright, we are back after a very eventful first practice. Still a lot to learn on this circuit. Yeah, it wasn't my best session, but we'll see in qualifying to set the grid for the sprint race how I fare after a very difficult first practice. Alright, first run in qualifying. We should be in a good position. Hopefully, I get myself a decent position. Let me just check the weather real quick, as it says it's gonna rain, but I don't think it is. Alright, we can definitely go and start our first quali lap. Alright, first qualifying in Azerbaijan. As I said in practice, I wasn't really confident with how I feel around this track, as I'm making too many mistakes at corner exits especially. But yeah, it's qualifying is all about making every lap stick without any major mistakes, like slamming into the wall or understeering into it. So yeah, now we're running to the line to clock at 1 minute 44.8, which is a decent time. Puts us in 3rd currently, which I'm very happy with. Not a bad first run. I would say I'm very happy with that. Yeah, 144.8 is good. I'll take it. But yeah, the times that we're aiming for are within the high 143s by the end of qualifying, if I manage to get into Q3 for the 5th time in a row. Alright, our second run in qualifying. Just making sure to not get knocked out by the faster running cars if they're under me. So over here, I just try to nail every corner, as we lose some time over here and we are forced to abort the lap because we were going slow. But either way, we are safely through into Q2. Alright, let's see. We placed 10th in that session, which was good enough for both drivers to qualify for the second part of qualifying. That did not make any sense in my head. I don't know why. But yeah, both drivers in Q2. Let's hope for a better run. There is rain on the way, I'm assuming, from how dark the sky is right now. So it's going to be a wet second qualifying. Yeah, it is a wet qualifying. So yeah, how much longer for this rain? Doesn't say. Anyway, we're gonna see you. You know what? I'm just gonna go. Yeah, let's go. All right, Q2 is in the wet, and I'm not really the best in the wet. Yeah, I don't know how this will really go. But I do actually, because this is me in the future talking. But yeah, let's just pretend I'm just commentating over this. But yeah, we have to lift over here to not hit the wall, as we are now on the long straight flat out to the line. It's taking a while thanks to the wet, but yeah, we clock a 1 minute 59.7, which is pretty decent. We're now at risk for being knocked out of qualifying for the first time in this series. But yeah, I'm not really. I'm gonna admit I'm not really the best in the wet. I mean, even my teammates are qualifying me now. But I'm gonna go give it another shot. I mean, is it really a difference? Yeah, I'm gonna use the same set. Alright, so using the same set in second qualifying. The rain is getting softer. Is that the correct word? I don't know. But yeah, it's getting lesser, so we should be setting a better lap time over here, as we already improve up to like 3/10 just out of the first two corners. And now heading on to the last few corners and the straight, we are already 2 seconds up on our previous time, which is good, as we are now heading to the line, probably clocking a 1 minute 57 point. What? I don't know. But yeah, we clock a 157, which is good enough for P5. Come on, let's go. Come on. The track was improving, so I was afraid other drivers just set a better lap time, but yeah, we managed to get into Q3 again, and we have a drying track. Yeah, unfortunately, Dennis once again doesn't make it. Seems like he got knocked out. He's very consistently qualifying in P15, so yeah, not bad from him either, being consistent. We're gonna set a time on the inters. Hopefully slicks are gonna be available for us for our second run. Alright, Q3 once again in the wet, using a new set of intermediates in this first part of third qualifying, as we are now just trying to set a banker lap. So since we know that the track will dry up by the time our second run comes in, as we are now 3/10 quicker than George Russell, 3.5 nearly, as we are now going through these last few sequences of corners onto the long straight flat out over here, doing 320 kilometers an hour, nearly 200 miles an hour over here, as Perez sets the fastest time of a 154.4. What do we set? A 155 for a second slower than him, as the second run in qualifying is on the way, but we can't do a flying lap, so we have to drive out, since technically there isn't enough time for me to go do an out lap and set a timed lap. But we went out anyway, hoping the track will be dry enough for the slicks to be quicker than 2 minutes around the track during the out lap, as we are now trying our best. There's still a lot of spray at the beginning over there, but we have now 20 seconds to cross the line and set a timed lap, as everyone is improving. Everyone's going into the 149s. We have 9 seconds left, and we make it through, and we can now start our timed lap, as we are now already a second up on our time, obviously, since we're on slicks, as we kind of mess up the corner over here, kind of almost overshoot, and we are now going into turn 4. Well, now it's turn 8. Yeah, already 4 seconds up by the time we hit the castle section, probably the hardest part of the track, as I kept hitting the wall over here a lot in practice and knocking my front wing loose. But now we are in the fast sequence of corners as we are now heading onto the straight, 8 seconds up on our time almost, as we are now flat out to the line with DRS now being enabled, as we are now heading to the line to set a lap time worthy of pole position.
Really well done. That was a fantastic drive. Bring it home.
Oh my god. Yes. Oh my god. We have just taken pole position for the sprint.
We're all ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who'll be fronting the grid. The owner driver, Verstappen, and George Russell. Goodbye for now then, but really we're just getting started. Make sure to join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
Oh my god, I just taken pole position from Max Verstappen by a second thanks to these changing conditions. It was just, the track was just improving over every single millisecond, and it really counted for us. Oh my god. Yeah, I almost messed up there by not exiting the pits on time, but thanks to the changing conditions, the grip just kept getting better and better, and we were able to cross the line with only like 4 or 5 seconds, even maybe less. So now we're gonna head into second practice. We're gonna sim it real fast, quick fast, so we can get the maximum R&D points available for the weekend. But yeah, we have worn out parts, turbocharger, gearbox, and the MGUH, so we won't be as quick. And now a chance at a podium over here if we get a very good position for the race on Sunday. But we have a sprint race to attend. We're gonna try to keep position. It's only 5 laps, so I think it is possible. 6 laps, my bad, sorry, 6 laps. So yeah, let's see how the sprint race goes.
Forget pit stops, forget fuel management. It's pedal to the metal all the way here as we get ready for today's sprint. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. It's the owner driver then in pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Russell, Leclerc, Perez, Sainz, Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, Norris, Tsunoda, Gasly, Ocon, Bottas, Oscar Piastri, Hauger, Hulkenberg, Albon, Joe, Stroll, De Vries, Magnussen, and Logan Sargent. And with preparations almost complete, let's head trackside for today's sprint.
After the points finished last race, let's aim to keep that momentum going.
Alright, we begin our formation lap from pole position for the first time in our F1 23 My Team Career Mode save. As now the formation lap, obviously we have to heat up our tires, our brakes, and now we're looking for a purple parking in our grid slot at the front of the grid.
Superb parking there, mate. Let's make sure
And now we are waiting for the grid to form up, as we have Verstappen on our left. Hopefully we can cut him off and avoid a collision going into the first corner, as it's lights out and away we go. And it's a great start from us from pole position, as we already take an amazing lead in front of Verstappen as Russell overtakes him from third on the grid. And it's just now a fight all the way around the track, as this is a sprint race which sets the grid for the Sunday race, as we're now trying to break the toe from George Russell so he doesn't overtake us. Obviously he has the faster car, as now we head to the end of lap 1 with George Russell right on our tail. He pulls out of the slipstream and trying to make a move around the outside, but we are still too far ahead for him to be thinking about that, as we keep our position in first and survive to go around another lap, as we kind of mess up the corner over there, kind of almost oversteering in a way, and that cost us some time, as George Russell again behind us with the slipstream, but he's not close enough to make a move as we're now heading into turn 4. But now again skipping to lap 3, George Russell on our right side as he is able to make the move and cut us off from the front as he is now ahead of us going into lap 4. We are now heading to the castle section of the track with George Russell behind Perez, Leclerc, Verstappen 3rd, 4th and 5th, as we are now trying to keep close to George Russell so we can get the benefit of DRS while we reach the straight. Sorry, as we reach the straight, that's the correct way of saying it, as now we are at the high speed section. We are within his DRS as we are now gonna start closing in on him using all that ERS and having DRS activated, but Perez is already behind us and we go side by side with him, and he almost overtakes us over here, but we take the inside line going to turn 1 and keep second position, which cost us some time against Russell as we kind of slow down, but we managed to get back into his DRS range to mount another attack on him going down the straight, and again using ERS. This time Perez not close enough to make a move as we now have DRS activated. We're closing in on the Mercedes, but it's still not enough as we head into turn 1. Still looking for a move over here as anything could happen. Maybe he could probably lock up and hit the wall. I was really hoping for that, but we kind of oversteer over there as we have a second dose of DRS. But then now we skip to the final lap of the sprint as Perez is now behind us with DRS. We try to defend. We literally just blocked him from overtaking us as we crossed the line to take second place for the Sunday race. And that was actually a very exciting sprint race as it was very tight. We could have fell down to 3rd place.
Let's see how the drivers' standings have changed. Max Verstappen should be pleased with his performance, making gains at the top of the table. With the sprint wrapped up, we now have our grid lineup for the big race tomorrow. Be sure to join us then for what will no doubt be a fantastic race.
So unfortunately, I mean, it's good, still good points, but unfortunately we couldn't hold on to 1st place for the entirety of the sprint, and I wasn't able to get a chance to overtake George Russell, who has won the sprint race for obvious reasons. Our car is still not quick enough, but hopefully with time we can get the car to be as quick as the front runners. P2 is a good result, but let's see if we can get a podium in the race.
And a warm welcome to you from Azadlik Square, heart of Baku and home, of course, to the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. With high speeds, tight corners and few runoff zones, many are expecting a safety car here today. So our drivers will have to stay very much on their toes and hopefully out of the barriers. With 20 turns and a length of 3.7 miles, Baku City Circuit in the heart of the Azerbaijan capital is a real test of a driver's endurance, patience and precision. 90-degree corners through Sector 1 lead into a tightening uphill sprint as we start to circle around the old city. Then a 1.4-mile chase flat out through Sector 3 towards the finish line. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. George Russell will begin today's event in pole position and the owner driver alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Perez, Leclerc, Hamilton, Verstappen, Sainz, Norris, Fernando Alonso, Tsunoda, Oscar Piastri, Gasly, Stroll, Hauger, Ocon, Bottas, Albon, Hulkenberg, Joe, Sargent, De Vries, and Kevin Magnussen fills the last spot on the grid. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today? I'm joined again today by none other than Anthony Davidson. Tell me, Ant, obviously there's a lot of development work that goes on with these cars between the Grand Prix. You've been both a test driver and a race driver. What differences are there in the way that you approach those roles?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. And they're two very different mindsets. In the old days, of course, they used to cover up to 15,000 working for the team, trying to help them improve the car and drive as systematically as possible so that the data could be analysed in the most consistent way. When lining up on the grid for a race, however, a race driver's frame of mind is all about what they can get out of the situation on that day, and the car is the tool to help them achieve those goals.
As we now head into the formation lap, we pick a medium to soft strategy, the opposite of what George Russell has selected for his tire strategy for the race. As now we are in the formation lap, getting our tires and brakes warmed up for the start of the race, as we need to get a good start off the line if we have a chance of if we even want to have a chance of overtaking him, as we get a purple parking once again.
Nice one. That's going to give you the edge if you can get good launch as the race starts.
Waiting for the grid to form up now.
The rest of the grid forming up now. Be patient and watch for those lights.
As we head to 5 red lights for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, it's lights out and away we go, and we get an amazing start off the line. So this George Russell almost cutting us off over there, but we take the inside line going into turn 1 and take the lead from George Russell. Leclerc is ahead of George Russell going into the second corner. They fight it out as we are trying to run away, hoping that they lose some time battling it out for position, but George Russell makes it through into second place. Leclerc almost falling behind Perez in fourth place, as Hamilton in fifth, fighting with Verstappen in the background over there, as we are now trying to make gains in front of George Russell, trying to break from his DRS, although it's still not enabled, but soon enough it would be, as right now we are heading towards the castle section of the racetrack, as we are hoping not to mess up any corners over here or lose time to George Russell, who is behind us already, like 2.5 tenths behind, as it was a whole second behind us. But yeah, he managed to make up that time from that almost poor start off the line, as he is now a tenth behind. He's not going to be thinking about making a move over here, as he might hit the wall as we just did over there. As now we head into the fast section of the track. It's all flat out from here, as we are now gonna fight George Russell going into the first corner. ERS activated, as we are now side by side all the way down the straight. We are drag racing, as Perez now pulls out from behind the slipstream, making it 3 wide going into the first corner, me in the middle, and we luckily make it through into first place after a very amazing scrap over there, as now Perez is now fighting with Russell for second place, but slots in right behind him, as we are now on the second straight with George Russell half a second behind us, so no moves going into turn 4 over here, as we are safe once again. But now on the straight in the second lap, going to the third lap with DRS being enabled for this lap, as we are fighting it all the way around turn 1, as George Russell takes the lead, but I'm pretty sure I let him take the lead over here so we can get some DRS benefit, as we are now in his slipstream, everything enabled, DRS, ERS, as we make a move around the outside, and we're already ahead of him going into turn 4. That was a very nice and clean move from us, as now we are heading to the end of lap 4, going into the fast section of the track with Perez this time behind us, as we are now enabling ERS, so we can keep him behind us as much as possible, as we all know that the pace on the Red Bull, as you can see over here, is already closed in on us, and he's side by side and overtakes us going into the first corner. The Red Bull is incredibly quick, even with me using ERS and everything I have in the car, but we are very close behind with DRS this time on Perez, as we are now gonna try and make a move going into turn 4. We are in his slipstream. We're closing in on the Red Bull as we cannot make a move into turn 4, but we are close enough now to hope that we are gonna be as close as this going into the long pit straight, as that's our best chance of making a move. As you can see over here, 3/10 behind Perez as he is pulling away slightly, but with ERS and DRS usage we should be able to make a move down into turn 1, as we now with ERS already activated. We deactivated because we do not have enough charge in the battery, but DRS should be enough to make a move round the outside as we make it stick here side by side going into turn 1, but we are already ahead of him after the apex of turn 1 as Russell now tries to make a move on Perez, and they're almost side by side going into turn 2 over there. But yeah, that gives us some breathing room as we build a gap of 1 second now in front of Perez, but with DRS he's gonna be able to close that gap a little bit, as we are now again heading into sector 3. The high speed section is definitely the best place for everyone to overtake, as we have this amazing overhead view of the track with Perez pulling ahead, but then we managed to make a move as we are trying to keep first position. But Perez, look at that speed on that Red Bull, as we managed to get DRS somehow. Russell on our right side, we are side by side, and he is now going to try to make a move on Perez, but we pull out of Perez's slipstream. We are down the inside, make a move, definitely an amazing move on 2 cars that are way faster than ours, as we are now back into first place after that quick scrap with the other 2 drivers behind us, as we are now getting a message from our engineer that the parts are worn out, as yeah, look at that, 75% on the MGUH. Anyway, we don't have time to talk about that, as Russell this time is behind us with DRS. We try to fight him with DRS, but it's all hopeless, as we are now gonna head into the first corner behind George Russell, as we lose the lead for the first time over here. We make a little bit of contact over there, but yeah, lucky for us we didn't break the front wing, as we are now trying to keep it clean into turn 2 using DRS to close in on George Russell and hopefully make a move somewhere on the track. Maybe the long straight was an option, but we head to a replay angle as we are making a move down the inside, almost making contact over there. That was a nice move from us, as we are back into first place. Damn, this is a long recording. Sorry, breaking character over there. But yeah, we are now in first place heading into the castle section, as we have yellow flags for something, as we are now, yeah, we have a safety car, as you can see on the top right over there. Yuki Tsunoda just bins it, and he's just stuck over there as he has to wait for everyone to pass him, as we now head into the pits, since it's already near our pit window. Anyway, so yeah, Tsunoda gets disqualified from the race as he is just stuck over there and can't move. So yeah, we head into the pits as we get an optimal turn in. We are putting on the soft tire as our teammate is behind us in the pits. We get an amazing pit stop, 2.4 seconds, as we now have to catch up with this safety car and wait for it to end so we can get racing once again. But yeah, the soft tire is definitely going to give us an advantage on the other drivers. Also, one thing to note, that Sainz hasn't pitted, so he is now in 4th place, but still has a pit stop to do, as we now head into the end of the safety car period. We're going to be pacing the field.
Safety car is in this lap. Safety car in this lap. You'll be controlling the pace on the restart. Keep it steady until the safety cars reach the pit lane.
Alright, yeah, so since we are now pacing the field, we're basically the safety car until the end of the third sector. We're gonna be looking for to jump George Russell and Sergio Perez on the restart, as we are now weaving to get some temperature into the tires. We get some extra weaving in and we floor it to the line, as I think that got that we caught Russell and Perez napping, as we already built a whole second gap by the time we reach turn 1, which is a very good safety car restart from us, as now it's already a second gap behind us. No DRS for 2 laps after the safety car restart, so we should be sitting nicely in first place, as we almost end the lap after the safety car. But we have another safety car this time. What is it this time? Alexander Albon is out of the session. What happened there? Let's see the replay on the top right, as Gasly is slowing down and Albon actually hits him. Doesn't seem like a thing to do over there, slowing down and in that section of the track, but I'm pretty sure he was retiring because of a mechanical failure. So yeah, another safety car. We haven't used the tires as much, so yeah, these safety cars are kind of helping us, as we have the softer, less durable tire till the end of the race. So these safety cars are really helping the tire life, as we are now trying to get another good safety car restart, similar to last time, as we are trying to jump George Russell, heading to the line, as we are now weaving again, and now we are on the power. Not as much of a jump on George Russell, as he catches us as well, trying to get away from him, but it wasn't as good. But at the same time, we still get enough distance from him going into turn 1 with ERS fully enabled, as right now we have him behind us going into lap 16 of the race. He is already a 10th behind, probably using all the battery he has just to get side by side. We can't use any more of the battery, as we are now down to 4%. It's Perez, sorry, my bad, sorry. It's Perez behind us, as we're now gonna try to overtake him. DRS now being enabled, as read that, thank you very much. But yeah, we are now side by side going into turn 2, and we take the lead away from him, as well as the DRS. So we have a benefit of DRS going down the straight, as well as being at the front of the field with George Russell. He's just flying going into turn 4, but we just make sure he doesn't make a move down the inside, as we now head into end of lap 16 with Perez very close behind, 4/10 behind. We use some ERS to make a gap, but it's very useless, as the Red Bull's straight line speed is incredibly high, as he already overtakes us with DRS.
Try to stay with them. They might make a mistake and we could still regain the position.
Thank you, Mark. As now we head into the first corner behind Sergio Perez in second place, as we now are within his DRS range going into turn 2. Hopefully we can make a move, but it doesn't seem to be the case, as he is already building a gap. Our soft tires are all worn out and we cannot close in as much as we could, as we now skip straight to lap 18, the end of lap 18, as Perez is heading to the line to take the checkered flag, as he finishes and wins the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. We come in second place. Alonso right behind us in third. He appeared out of nowhere, to be honest.
Great drive, great drive. Everyone here is really happy with that performance. Well done, mate.
So am I, Mark. I'm very happy and elated with how we performed in this race weekend, finishing in second place.
And so ends another Azerbaijan Grand Prix. A fascinating race and a well-deserved victory. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everybody at the team. Let's have a quick look at how the drivers' standings have changed. Max Verstappen should be pleased with his performance, making gains at the top of the table. Some amazing talent out on the track today. But Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
Often my go-to would be a driver who's managed to pull off an especially impressive feat during the race. However, in this instance, I was more impressed by Max Verstappen's solid, clean driving throughout the event.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. And Red Bull take over as championship leaders. Another team that will be satisfied with this Grand Prix is Alfa Romeo, whose good result moves them further up the championship. It's been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action, and I can't wait to see what's next.
Well, that was a very eventful Azerbaijan Grand Prix. We take our first podium of the season, our first podium ever. Yeah, I'm very tired as I've been recording for the last 3 hours. But yeah, overall a decent result for the team, as well as Dennis has made it into the points once again. And we gather a good chunk of points, 25 points, 26 points total for the team, 25 points for myself, 1 point for Dennis. But really unfortunate, I really wanted to win that race so bad. But yeah, the pace on the Red Bull is something else, as the Perez overtook me on the 16th lap and I was trying to fight him all the way to the end. So yeah, once again, thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe, turn on your notification bells, and follow me on Instagram. It's right up there somewhere. I'm probably gonna put it at the top. But yeah, thank you guys for watching.